I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I gotta tune in to what the angels say. I listen for the good news coming my way. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. Walking in circles, feeding all the birds, climbing up a mountain, looking around. Yeah, yeah, smelling all the flowers, staring at the moon. I listen to the waves come crashing down, down. Whoa, whoa, I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. Do 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 do. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I gotta tune in to what the angels say. I listen for the good news coming my way. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. Do 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 do. Walking in circles, feeding all the birds, climbing up a mountain, looking around. Yeah, yeah, smelling all the flowers, staring at the moon. I listen to the waves come crashing down, down. Whoa, whoa, I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I gotta tune in to what the angels say. I listen for the good news coming my way. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. Smelling all the flowers, staring at the moon. Listen to the waves come crashing down, down. Walking in circles, feeding all the birds, climbing up a mountain, looking around. Yeah, 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 I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I gotta tune in to what the angels say. I'm waiting on the good news coming my way. Hey, hey. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 ba-do, ba-do, do. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I gotta tune in to what the angels say. I listen for the good news coming my way. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today.
Alright, so I'm just going to keep going here. I'm still working on the Astrodoodle, and I'll just check in with you. Give me a second. Where am I? Let's go over here. Oh yes, good evening. Hi, this is Lumination. If you can imagine, I'm actually still here. It's mind-boggling, really. I'm going to go back. I'm going to finish the Astrodoodle, and then we can start hanging out, okay? So let's, you know, I'm going to play Taste Your Dreams, okay? It's another Lumination song. I'm very proud of this. And we should finish the Astrodoodle by then. Thank you for visiting, dropping by. Think of this as white reggae, as they call it, because I'm a white guy, but it's got a reggae beat.
If you wish for a simple miracle, if you wish you can have one right away, all you need is some faith.
Okay, here we go.
Ask for it and it will come to you today. Hey, hey, I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Na da 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 da. Na da 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 da. And if you wish to be in a state of grace, ask for it and it will meet you face to face. And if you wish, if you dare to dream, you will find that it's easier than it seems. Hey, hey, I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Da 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 la da 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 la da 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 la I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah. I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Taste your dreams this way. Taste your dreams today.
Alright, so I think I finished Astrodoodle in just 2 songs, if you can believe that. It's amazing. So, anyway. Oh, look who's here. Hello, Path. Hello, Tina. Oh, Tina, it's great to see you. Wow. Oh, thank you, Tina. Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry, folks, but I've had to resort to artificial sustenance this evening. Some of you know that I've been a little bit under the weather, as they say. The whole of summer 2022 has been brutal. We're coming out of it now. It's much cooler now. I had several months of cancer radiation therapy. I've still got several months of recovery to do with all the side effects. But it's definitely going well. It's going really, really well. And I have to admit I don't like admitting it, but I'm struggling with these side effects. They're very subtle, but they're really powerful. One of them is extreme fatigue, and that's normal. The other one is this. It's to do with the my medications and long-term, let's say, wear and tear because of the medications. I've got this thing called orthostatic hypotension. I might have told you already, but basically it's seriously low blood pressure. And it's just imagine, it's like one of those things. Hold on, let me just connect before we actually talk about the Astrodoodle itself. Good evening, hi. Have you know that feeling when you've been dozing on a sofa, or you've been asleep, or you've been laying down, or you've been crouching down doing something, and then you had to stand up, or you had to stand up really quickly, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, wait a minute, whoa. You get dizzy and lose your balance. And I think it's because when you force yourself upwards, there's not enough blood pressure to fill your brain with enough blood to be stable, and so you get really disoriented. So what I'm dealing with right now is that very thing. I feel extremely lightheaded and sometimes dizzy and very weak and disoriented on a very frequent basis. I'm perfectly functional, but in a very kind of like wispy, fragile way. Hi, Tina. No, I don't have any radiation burns, but that's what they described inside my body. So when the radiation machine, it's just a massive, massive machine about the size of, they have to build a special like house for it. And they have a crew of 3 or 4 people operating, and it just sort of goes around your body and it shoots all this radiation onto the target zone, which is where the cancer is. And they give you I had to go through a lot of preparations for about a month or 6 weeks before the radiation treatment to see if my body could withstand it and how I was going to react. And that went well. And then the after effects, like Tina says, they're pretty... Anyway, so yeah, they described it well. You might feel as though you've got radiation burn, kind of like sunburn, on the inside of your bladder, your lower intestines, my genital area, and things like that, and my bowels in general. And with that, I don't know. Look at it this way. Have any of you ever had severe sunburn or heat stroke? In particular, overexposure to sunlight, where you get radiation poisoning. They call it sunstroke. If you've ever had sunstroke, then you'll know what I'm talking about and how it affects your body. You can feel like extremely weak, very fragile. It's kind of a frightening condition. And it's basically the same thing that you would get if you got if there was a nuclear bomb or something and you were quite far away, but you got hit by the radiation. It's the same radiation, Yeah. Loopy feeling. That's Tina's normal. Oh, wait a minute. Is that... Thank you, Path. That's a Path Traveler has described it very effectively there. Tina put some notes up there as well about the eclipse. I want to mention a few things about the eclipse because this one is very personal for me. Of course, it affects the whole of our little world here. Here's the sun, right? This is my amateur astrology moment. Here's the sun, and all of our planets in our solar system revolve around our sun. Here is the Earth in the Earth orbit, and we have our own personal private little moon which orbits our Earth, like this. It's on an extremely precise, very predictable pattern, okay? That's how and why we can have what we call an ephemeris. We can predict everything down to a fractional degree of the movement of the orbits. So on a full moon eclipse like this one, here's what happens. The sun is over here. The sun is always projecting. And of course the Earth is spinning night and day, night and day, night and day, night and day on its axis. And at the same time, the moon is doing its rotation around the Earth. But it just so happens through this, I think it's really bizarre, but very beautiful sacred geometry, where you get this alignment where if you could look at the solar system in a 3D model, which you can do, there are amazing softwares out there, I've seen them, which allow you to play with the solar system and look at the whole solar system in a very compact and a very detailed way. And you can see how everything in our solar system spins around the sun in like a very, very flat, precise disk. And the moon does its own thing with the moon in its own disk. So in a lunar full moon eclipse, normally with a full moon, the Earth would not be obstructing the moon. The moon would be slightly under or over the ecliptic. But in a lunar eclipse, a full moon eclipse, the Earth actually blocks the light to the moon. I'm sure most of you have been around long enough to see a lunar eclipse. I'm very fortunate. I've seen quite a few in my life, some very big, powerful ones, and it is just like almost overwhelmingly spooky. It is so spooky when you're out there observing, and especially if you've got a really clear sky. And then the eclipse begins, and typically they run for like 4 to 6 hours or something like that. It takes about 4 to 6 hours for the moon to traverse through the shadow line of the Earth. And in that 4 to 6 hours, you can see the moon being eclipsed by the Earth. Okay? The Earth eclipses the light from the moon. And so for about 4 or 6 hours, what would normally be a dazzling bright full moon turns into this invisible thing. And the geometry is a little bit off here because another freakoid piece of sacred geometry is that when we have these lunar full moon eclipses, there's a lot of similarity between the shadows from the Earth and the size of the moon itself. And so you can see it all, and the moon disappears perfectly. And sometimes you get the penumbra type of thing, where the moon is still got some peripheral light around it, you know. And anyway, we're having one of those. We're building up to it. So let's just say this is the moon orbit here. And right now, tonight, the moon is in Aries in the late degrees. And then tomorrow, it's going to enter the very early degrees of Taurus. And then about a day and a half, basically, when we get to November 8th, the moon is going to be in this exact kind of alignment. And that's where we're going to get the eclipse. Now, I haven't done enough homework to know if we're ever going to see it or not. Sometimes it's just luck, you know. Okay? But anyway, so there we are. We've got this eclipse coming. Now let's go to the astrodoodle, okay? Hold on, you guys are really chattering over here. What did I miss? No, I don't think it's anything to do with being blonde. You can be blonde, but you don't have to be loopy because you're blonde. Tina was loopy before she was blonde, but she was born with white hair. Very interesting. No. Okay. Silver. All right, so, yeah, just checking in on the chat there briefly. Let's go over here. Now, as you know, a lot of you know, I have these things I just say over and over and over again. Number one, you've got to reveal it to heal it. So that's what we deal with a lot on the global healing journey and also the personal healing journey. Okay? This channel here, Lumination on YouTube, is ultimately about love and healing. So I'm going to try to stick to that, okay, without getting into a lot of trouble with ranting about subjects that are a little bit outside where I get in trouble with you-know-who, initials YT. So here is the what do I call it? Artificial, let's say, methods I'm using to survive the show this evening, because I really wanted to do a show despite my orthostatic hypotension. Okay, so I'm using this unsweetened tea. It's raspberry black tea. Apparently has 70 milligrams of caffeine. I'm only going to drink about half. I've already done that. So I'm hoping it just keeps me just alive. I'm hoping it increases my blood pressure. I had to take an aspirin and a Tylenol together, and you can do that because I'm aching. I have a lot of like body ache and pain. Some of it is to do with just like the groaning and moaning of just getting through life, you know. And there's another thing I've been doing, but I'm a little bit scared of it. It's called salt therapy. I know the enemy is salt, according to some people, but Love Triber was teaching me about salt therapy, and so I tried it, and it seems to help. I didn't do it yet. I didn't have time tonight, but I could. And I would take about a half a teaspoon of really high quality salt and a nice glass of water, and quite quickly it seems to build up my blood pressure. You know, like you're not supposed to drink seawater because your blood pressure goes up and up and up and up and up, too much sodium or something, and then you die. Anyway, so Cheers. Thanks, folks, for dropping by. Let me put out a post-it note here before I forget. I have to scroll back through the chat because I believe Tina said she put a donation in the what you call it, the PayPal thingamajig. Oh, where is it? There she is. Yay. Thank you, Tina. Thank you so much. It's been a while. Oh, you're wonderful. Thank you so much. You're keeping me alive. You guys are keeping me alive right now. You know? Thank you. So, Tina Miller, here you go. It's funny, Tina. I've been thinking about you a lot lately. Trying to imagine life up north near the town of, I believe it's LINA, Montana. And of course, things are starting to get really chilly up there, if I'm correct. So there's Tina. Everybody remember, if you can remember, Tina is up around here. And I just checked the weather forecast earlier for the day, and we're starting to get these really serious cold fronts coming in here. So that's going to affect you, Tina, in some way or other. And I'm over here in sunny Las Vegas, where it's already early November, but it's, it was cold this morning, but it was, fairly warm this afternoon. I'm really enjoying the much cooler weather. To be honest, I'm terrified. I'm terrified of the sun and the heat over here. I've never known anything like it. Anyway, let's get on with this thingy. It's okay, Tina. You're a very busy lady nowadays. You've got your awesome, cool job, and they love you. You're an angel from heaven. And let's have a look. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to check something. If we've got any newbies here tonight, you've never seen anything like this before, you've never had a tarot reading, you've never hung out with astrology folks and people who are interested in remote healing and the healing power of love, well, you're at the right place. Okay? Just sort of letting you know. So just hang and watch for a bit. So, anyway, this is the chart for today, like right now. The moon is over here in Aries. And we've got about 40 maybe hours until it's right over here conjoined opposite. Well, it's not going to be conjoined anything much. Well, it'll be pretty much conjoined Uranus in the North Node. And at this point here is when we have the eclipse, and that's going to be on Tuesday. As you know, the eclipse is happening on this Tuesday, and there's a very monumental event happening in America on Tuesday. There's been a lot of early voting, but the big day is Tuesday. All right? So you can see that, the word eclipse is fairly precise. It means something is eclipsed out of something else. Like an energy pattern is eclipsed out of your life. An old way of being is eclipsed out of your life, your world. An eclipse basically brings things to a very distinct conclusion, a very obvious conclusion, and just blocks it out and obliterates it. I'm very scared of talking about this subject matter, so I'm just going to be very fuzzy about it. But the eclipse could be regarding the eclipsing of an existing government status quo, in order that a new government reorientation can come about. And the color is red for what looks like it's going to be entering. They call it a red wave tsunami, and they wear red hats. And they are, let's say, being all fired up by a fellow called Donald. And there's some folks on the other side, usually associated with the color blue, and they're absolutely terrified of what's happening in America right now for what's happening on Tuesday. It's a it's a taboo subject on my channel, so that's about all I'm going to talk about, okay? I can post something else. I'm going to do something else on my new Rumble channel on the actual day. Anyway. What's that? What's that? The job fell through? Whatever. What's that about the job fell through? Tina? Interesting. It's for the best. I really wanted to go back to work, but the hospital was so unsafe. Whoa. Well, that's pretty serious. Hospitals are supposed to be safe, clean places of healing. Thanks for letting us know, Tina. I mean, you know how I got all excited about you getting that job, because I think they really did see you as an angel from heaven. But having been there for only a short while and to discover that things aren't exactly peachy, maybe you can understand that's why they thought you're an angel from heaven. Maybe they thought you're going to be able to fix this place, you know. Anyway, the eclipse is coming up. So, again, for people who want personal readings, deep into the astrology and tarot in their own personal lives, okay, I just want to mention that for anybody new who's watching. Just wanted to mention that with the astrology here, this is the astrology for the whole of basically our solar system, okay? And it affects each and every one of us. And I do it like this for planet Earth. But for each of us as individuals, this astrology could look anything like this, okay? At the personal level. That's you, the personal individual. And the tricky, sensitive hotspots are going to be the eclipse hotspots here. Scorpio, Sun, Venus, and Mercury conjoining the South Node, right in the middle, around 15, 18 degrees or something, opposed by the Moon, Uranus, and the North Node in Taurus. So everybody on Earth has these hotspot degrees in their charts somewhere. It'll be there somewhere. Now, in my super simplified Western astrology, these are going to be the hotspots in your chart where you're going to feel the eclipse energy. At an unconscious level, you won't know it's happening. It'll just be something you might observe or notice in your life. If you are into all this stuff like I am and some of the folks hanging out here, then you've probably got a feeling of what this eclipse means for you personally. As some of you know, I love to talk about this stuff at the macro level, macroscopic level, regarding the United States in particular and the rest of the world. United States in particular, this is an incredibly important eclipse because of the date and because of what's happening in America on November 8th, okay? It's a very, very, very big deal. It's historical. It's monumental, okay? And it's going to affect all of this, okay? I'm already starting to get very close to the danger line, so I'm going to stop doing that and talk about it on another video on another platform. But anyway, for those of you who want to figure out, if you're new here, like Tina, for example, and Path Traveler, hello Necessary, I see you. Hello Love Triber, I see you. Everyone who's here tonight in the chat are very well seasoned, kind of advanced astrology, tarot buffs, and they understand everything I'm talking about in a very, let's say, astute manner. And so we like to hang out here doing what we do. We just chat amongst ourselves. But sometimes we get a few newbies who come in and they're like, what the heck is going on this channel? What is that? Okay, well, this is a Tarot Lumination Astrodoodle. Okay. A lot of folks have to use computers. I use computers for a lot of things, but I don't have any of the really fancy software. But I can get access to the basics, all right? So, if anyone's interested, I'm just going to do my little promotional. Here we go. If anyone's out there and you want to go a deep dive into your own personal situation, like what the bleep is going on in my life right now, I need answers for ... fill in the blank, okay? Then you go to tarotlumination.com. You'll see it on the page. You can book a reading. You can pay for it using a debit card, credit card. And it's all there on the tarotlumination.com site. I'll just show you briefly over here. Okay? So that's what the tarotlumination.com site looks like. You would go to the, you can just read around it, go through. It's very simple. Go to the readings section, click there, read through how to book it, and then it shows you, it takes you direct to the payment processor. If you want to reach me in advance, you can go to the contact page and give me a heads up of the issues that you're concerned about, okay? So there, that's my little plug for tarotlumination.com. I love doing these readings for people. I've done thousands of readings. I like helping people, help them to evolve, grow, adapt, become more and more adept with energy management and understanding how energy works and how to be more and more of an instrument of the healing power of love without having to walk around looking like you're a guru or a yoga, Zen yoga model. Okay? So, yeah. I've done my little plug. Oh, actually, I should check in personally over here. Please like and subscribe and do the notifications. It's almost a waste of time. I'm just going to tell you why. I had a really amazing consultation with some social media, let's say, facilitators. They came across my channel and they wrote to me and they said, "Man, we really love your channel. We'd love to help you out. Would you like to have a meeting?" Of course, it's a paid service, and there's all sorts of things like that on the internet, for YouTube especially, because a lot of YouTubers, they have integrations with products and all sorts of things, and it gets very complicated to run a YouTube channel. And so they thought, "Man, we love your stuff. It looks like you seriously need some help." And so I accepted their offer for a free consultation. And we were connecting on a private Zoom for over an hour. They did an extremely thorough examination of my situation and gave me some feedback, which was very, let's say, honest, sincere, to the point, And so what they were saying is that your channel is basically ruined. There's not much you can do with the channel itself except to just kind of be very careful, smooth it out, don't make it any worse. If you want to keep doing it, great. But with the way that the algorithm works on YouTube, and from your long-term relationship with YouTube, your channel is essentially ruined. And they made it very clear you might want to actually consider starting everything again from scratch, now that you know what works and what doesn't work. And that really, really, really hit me very, very hard. It was like a stab wound into my chest. It was just very, very painful to read that, but I understand their point. So they did offer some other ideas and what to do, where to go, and how to do things. And so I'm just going to stew on this for a while. We'll see what happens. Let's have a look here. Electra Ray is here. Tina's missing New Mexico. Oh, because Tina, you did this big loop from New Mexico down to Houston, Texas. Now you're up in Helena, Montana. You made a foothold up there. But if you're if you're around the New Mexico, and you had this sort of very, very spiritual thing going on in New Mexico, I remember that, Hello, Jeffrey. What's going on? I saw you doing a lot of the chat in the last week with everybody, all the regulars. That was great. I'm sorry I couldn't hang out or participate. Welcome, Jeffrey. Welcome, Necessary Truth. Good evening. All right. So, yeah, I want to go back to the astrodoodle again for a second. I'm just letting you know that like this energy is in perpetual motion, and it's sacred geometry that is always shifting and changing in perpetual motion. Every single planet, orb that flies around our solar system, these days we know they have very predictable patterns. It's been known for hundreds, if not thousands of years, but today with NASA and all the space science, they've been taken into an art form down to fractions of a degrees. This is what's called an ephemeris. It measures all the degrees of the planets. This red marker here is where the eclipse lies. This is a calendar, okay? These are the planets. Like right now, as you know, Mars just turned retrograde. Jupiter's still retrograde. Uranus still retrograde. Neptune's still retrograde. But at the end of October, Saturn went direct and Pluto went direct. I don't know if you felt that energy, but I really felt it for the macro news, especially for America and the global dynamics, okay? Anyway, this stuff here, I'm taking it very personally. It's very hard for me not to, because I have really heavy trigger points that are very closely, very, very closely aligned with all of this stuff. Here, 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 and soon it's going to be here. When the moon gets over here, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'll just have to do a show to escape and get out of myself so I don't get swamped by the energy, you know. The only way out is through. So these energy fields here, these big red lines indicate stressful geomagnetic interplanetary, let's say, energy fields. Because each planet pulls on the other as they whiz around the solar system. It's mind-boggling, but they all interact with each other in harmonious, supportive ways and sometimes detrimental ways. You know? So, I love to blame the planets. I'd like to say the reason I feel so crappy today is because of all this. But the thing is, I've kind of got to a point where I know this was coming. I knew it was coming. And I feel like I'm actually doing a really good job of dealing with these energy fields. And I'm trying to do my best to live by example on how what I call energy management is can be very effective when you're going through hard times, especially. And I like to live by example as much as possible, so that I can be an illustration of how to handle this. Because without being conscious of these types of energies, I would be utterly crippled. Emotionally, psychologically, physically. This stuff, long ago, before I understood the depth of these things, I would have been crippled by these energies. I would have just been pushed and pulled, you know, like a pinball in a pinball machine. Bam, 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 everywhere. With no conscious ability to, let's say, roll with the energy and surf the energy. So instead of being a victim of the energies, I now feel like I'm surfing with the energy. Sometimes it's extremely hard to do, but I feel like I am doing at least the best I can. All right, let's have a look here. Oh, Tina's talking about relocational astrology. Very, very interesting. I've been helping a few other people, Tina, as well. It's absolutely fascinating stuff. It's amazing how it works. Let me go over here a second. All right. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie called Dances with Wolves. Is it Dancing with Wolves? Anyway, that was a famous movie with Kevin Costner, what, 20, 25 years ago or something, I don't know. Anyway, I'm thinking of making and producing a live action feature film called Sleeping with Cats. You can't see it here because I just did one of those roller fluff things. But I had to have a nap earlier. I have to have a lot of naps. And I get covered in cat hair. So that's the main movie. The movie's probably going to be about 3 minutes long. And the hero of the movie will be Bubba, the world famous Bubba Cat. And the co-stars will be Boo Boo and Bonnie. Okay? Because they all have fur and it all gets everywhere. So anyway, I thought I'd put that out. We're hoping to negotiate a huge distribution deal on Netflix, and it's going to go worldwide. It's going to be awesome. I'll give you kind of a spoiler. The main character is lying down, and they're going to shoot the film from multiple angles for 3 minutes, and you're going to see how all the cat fur transfers onto the body and how the hero recovers from cat fur. There you go. Hey, Tina, didn't we factor in a little bit of your sun? Wasn't your sun pretty close to your Montana line thingy? I don't have your charts in front of me right now, Tina, but Tina, like you have clusters, I have clusters as well. So, like I have a Sun, Saturn, I think Sun, Saturn, Venus cluster, okay? So I was doing relocational astrology for myself, and my Sun, Venus thing actually takes me very close to kind of where you are, Tina, up near Coeur d'Alene in Idaho. Perhaps Boise or something, but especially Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And if I follow a secondary path, there's another very powerful positive alignment towards Eugene, Oregon. So I'm just toying with these ideas for fun, like window shopping, as if I was going to move, which is not going to happen. Yeah, so since pretty much everyone here, like, I know that Path Traveler has shedding pets. I know that Tina has big furry animals. So, yeah, maybe this story will, it's a feature film. Maybe it will resonate with some of those folks. So if you see, it'll probably take about 1.5 years to make it. It's a big deal. We were going to cast Tom Cruise as the ultimate male, action hero, but he's very busy, very expensive, and he's got problems of his own, okay? So anyway, it was great, but we had long negotiations, but Tom sort of had to decline. So anyway, we're going to go forward, and it'll be out on Netflix in about 1.5 years. It's called Sleeping with Cats. There you go. All right. Where did I get to? Over here. All right. What was I going to say? Hold on a second. Gregory Ross might be around somewhere, but a lot of you know that Gregory has been going through tremendous upheavals with locational stuff himself. Interesting, we're talking about locations. And hopefully things are going to settle down soon in the next year or so, and all the turbulence and drama of the last few years is going to just disappear, and there will be a more gentle stress-free life. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. So it might be a very short show tonight. We've got one reading booked here. By the way, let me just go back here. Because of what's happened to my channel, unless there's some astronomical shift that I can't control, please don't do any super chats. If you're going to make the donation and you want a reading, please do it through PayPal. So let me explain. Tina already did it because she knows the routine, but in case there's a few of you out there who want to do it, I've got one reading booked tonight and we can maybe handle another one. So let's go over here. What you can do is, if you have your own PayPal already, you can just send a nice fat donation to alittlebookabout@yahoo.com. That's my email, alittlebookabout@yahoo.com. If that's not quite possible because you don't have your own PayPal, don't worry. There is a secondary pathway, and it's this. You go to Terra Lumination, you go to the donate page, click donate, and it pops up a PayPal processor. Woohoo! So it's just like online shopping, and you can scroll through and you'll figure out, you'll realize that, oh, I can just swipe a debit card or a credit card. Kaboom! You don't have to have PayPal. All right? The PayPal does the work, but you don't have to have a PayPal. So those are your options, and it works. It works very, very well. And I just wanted to mention that. Alright, so if I get a little bit dizzy, I'm actually feeling a little bit lightheaded at the moment. But the my aspirin and my acetaminophen and my little sip of caffeine, I'm not supposed to take caffeine. I've stopped alcohol completely. But anyway, it's just a little, I'm cheating a little bit, you know, just to be a good host. All right, let's go over here and let's get on with Tina and your reading. Now, Tina, if you want to put some notes here in advance, otherwise we'll go blind. You're probably, you know, we don't know how the eclipse is affecting you, but maybe it's something to do with job, work, locations and stuff. We'll see. We'll do a blind reading and find out if you want. Obviously, if you want to go deep into it, there's other ways, but for now, let's go over here. Black yoga pants are not my friends. That's a good one. Electra Ray says, Bounce has dryer sheets that repel pet hair. Really? Wow. Okay. I'll remember that one. I know I will. Okay, let's just put this aside for a moment, and then we will putter along here with the reading. Chug that over there. Make a little bit of room over here. That's fine. All right, Tina, let's have a look. See what's going on, okay? All right, the cards are very well shuffled from the last reading. But I'm going to do a little bit live in front, just for fun. All right. So Tina, I'm going to keep a close eye on the chat just for a moment. And I think it's about a 40-second delay right now. But I'm going to keep an eye there in case you've got some notes for me. Otherwise, I will just quite happily, more than happily, do a blind reading. We've done this before, and it's nothing to be scared of, okay? All right, here we go. Right, very nicely shuffled. Shuffling on top of shuffling on top of shuffling. Uh-oh, Bubba's here. I gotta be careful. He probably wants to steal the show. He does that. He likes to do that. Oh no, oh no, oh no, here he goes. What you doing? Oh, good grief. What can you do? I guess he's like doing a security, checking on security. Bubba, it's okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. We're doing fine. I'll send in a report. Oh my gosh, what are you going to do? Drink the water? I know I'm a little bit tolerant. You know, you're supposed to be really strict with your pets and get them in order, but I have such a soft spot for these animals. I just can't help it. They're just beautiful creatures, and I love being very close to them. And I don't know, I just like having them around. I don't particularly mind if they eat my food or if eat off my plate or drink out of my beverages. I'm perfect. Okay, thank you, Bubba. That was, sorry, Tina. Bubba just wanted to effectively make sure that everything was okay. He was just doing a security check. All right, here we go. Yeah. All right. Oh my gosh, okay. Well, all of you here tonight know very well that this is my situational spread. We've used it thousands of times, and it's going to be good for thousands more times. All right, so there you go. And if there's any newbies watching out there, this is just what we do. Okay? It's just what we do. All right, so we're shuffled and cut. I don't do reversals. Just let me explain in case there's folks watching that I've never done this before. No, I think we're all here on our own. I don't think there's any newbies here or anything. Well, sometimes there's lots of newbies, but they never type in on the chat, you know? They just hang around observing. Maybe they're getting stoned, or maybe they're doing their yoga, or maybe they're cooking dinner. Does anybody remember Gabby Statursky? She used to love to put this on the big screen. She would do this, what they call casting from her smartphone onto a big screen. I was so proud of that, but then she left the channel once she discovered my political views. Oh my God. Bubba is good luck. Yep, I'd say so. So this is the situational spread. It's my little diagnostic tool. It's how we kind of get into things. Think of it as a very serene, high-frequency scanner like they use in auto tech shops, okay? For all those discreet viewers who are not signed in. Okay, here we go. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. And here's how we're going to figure it out. How we're going to deal with it, okay? And we have to also look at external influences. So it's not just poor Tina on her own with whatever issues. Well, not poor Tina, but it's not just Tina on her own. It's Tina in the context of her home, her town, her state, her environment, and her planet. Let's have a look. So we've got Death card, okay? So this is very much associated with the eclipses and Scorpio energy and transformation. The Death card is probably the ultimate card signaling transformation. The end of an old and the birth of a new by, let's say, willfully or unwillfully submitting to what might feel like crisis energy. So like, for example, a lot of people are terrified of this card. I think it's an absolutely beautiful card. It's up there at the very top with some of the most healing card energies out there. I don't know if you can see it very too clearly, but there's the majestic horse and the rider. I forgot the exact symbolism. of the card. It's like a majestic mythological rose. But there are these humans in here. Some of them look like priests, popes, peasants, women, children, animals, who are so terrified of the concept of transformation that they're like begging, please, please, please do not ask me to transform. Transforming means having to endure change. Typically change means facing the unknown. It's fear of the unknown. So many people are so terrified of the unknown that they would rather shackle themselves to the world that they know. So what's that expression? Better the devil you know rather than the devil you don't know. Fear. A lot of people have a profound, deep fear of change. And it's almost like, when I do my little mini discourse on eclipses, the eclipses are a classic example of really obvious changes in your life. Typically every year we have about 4 eclipses, okay? Solar, lunar, solar, lunar. And they change signs as the lunar nodes move around. But in general, with the eclipses, the reason I think in mythology and human and, pagan times and early religious times, reason that a lot of people were scared of eclipses is because everybody knew that when the eclipses come, there are some irreversible, irrevocable events that happen to themselves, to their families, their communities, their relationships, their jobs, their homes, their money, their health, and everything. One thing or something is eclipsed, gone, and something else is eclipsed in order for something new to come in. I call it evolutionary gateways. I use that analogy of an industrial elevator, which is double doors on each side. Everybody knows my analogy now, okay? And you come in on one side, consciously or unconsciously, either way, you enter the elevator, the door closes behind you, and whoosh, energy moves on constantly, and it moves up to the top. You get to the full moon eclipse, and then the double-sided elevator door opens on the other side, and you are effectively ejected at the higher level, higher frequency. This part of your life is now eclipsed, and this is as the eclipse passes, this is the new life, new world in front of you. And because eclipses can often be very obvious in terms of experience, a lot of people are terrified. So, for example, in the United States right now, there's probably millions and millions and millions of people who are terrified of what's happening on November 8th because of the American government and the voting system and the voting activity that's going to be going on. Some people are deliriously happy because there's strong indications that it's going to go their way. And on the other side, they are freaking out in shock because they're terrified it's going to go against them. And it's inevitable, and it's very, very obvious. It's very, very obvious. This is one of the most classic, obvious eclipse moments I've ever witnessed. And it's fear of the unknown. It's fear of change. And the more you resist it, the more it persists. What's that? Oh wow, now I sound like a real guru. Hold on. The more you resist, the more it persists. There you go. That's true. It's absolutely true. There's no point in fighting the eclipses. You've got to learn how to roll with it. It's like the energy of transformation. Tina understands this very, very well. I'm glad you are seeing this in positive light, Tina, because a lot of people are terrified of the eclipse, of the eclipses and transformation. But the beauty is, I know it's not absolutely crystal clear. Oh, no, there, now you can see it. Now you can see it. It's beautiful. Do you see over here? There's a whole new world unfolding on the other side of the eclipse. But you have to be willing to experience a psychological, emotional, spiritual death, okay, to get there. Because you can't carry the old ways with you. They're obsolete and redundant. We have to evolve, grow, and mature spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. Okay, let's see the situation itself. Oh, Tina, look. I'm really happy to see this for you. To me, it makes me feel like you're looking at your world, your situation. You're extremely aware of how fortunate you are and how, I'd say, how hard you have worked to earn this position of Queen of Cups. And it's almost like overload. To me, it feels like it's serious overload. You might not know this yourself because you're the person living your life, but that's why we get these little readings. From my perspective, as your reader here, you have very generously asked me to do a mini reading for you. And even though it's only 4 cards, you can still get a very substantial reading out of this. To me, it feels like the question is, what do we do now? What am I going to do now? What the bleep am I going to do now? It's not tragedy. It's not scary. It's not, let's say, painful. It's a real question. What am I going to do now? I have so much. I have so much. I am a custodian of the healing power of love. How can I best share that and disperse that with my surroundings, my people, my queendom, the way I look at it, like with where you live, wherever you happen to live, which is right now up near Helena, Montana. What am I going to do now? I still have so much to offer, and I would like to offer this. I don't want to be hoarding all this love as though it's like gold bars that I have to hide and bury in case of emergencies. This is very, very powerful energy that needs to be shared. And my feeling is that deep inside, you're starting to ask yourself these kinds of questions. You're here for a reason, Tina, and you know it. And you still have a lot to offer, a lot of love to give, a lot of love to share. Number 1, love thyself, of course, okay? Because you wouldn't be able to share all this without taking care of yourself properly and making sure that you love yourself, okay? So you made a lot of bold moves over the last few years, relocating. Now you're up in a whole new universe up there. It was a very exciting time when you landed that new job, and now very quickly discovering that it's not workable because it's so unsafe. That's an example of you being Queen of Cups. You're not forcing yourself to stay there because people are desperate and need help. You are removing yourself because you are a very loving being, and you cannot afford to sacrifice this. If you could say that this is the container, you are the steward, and this is the container of the healing power of love. So this is very much in question right now. Obviously, the job has already been eclipsed. Perhaps it was timed very closely with the solar new moon eclipse, and we'll get more understanding of what like a so-called future would look like in a few days. Because things can happen very, very suddenly around eclipses. Like, you don't know anything is going to happen until it happens. Now, you multiply that dramatically when you add Uranus and the North Node to the eclipse here. Uranus is the planet of shock and awe and awakening. That is all about trying to jolt people to the next steps of evolution. And so when you have this eclipse conjoined with Uranus like that, it's a really powerful eclipse so you can expect the unexpected. Now that sounds ridiculous, but it is a thing that I learned many years ago. And it's like if you can say, oh, I knew that was going to happen, I knew that was going to happen, then you already knew that was going to happen. When we say expect the unexpected, please be prepared to face something completely radically new that you truly did never expect. And then what are you going to do about that? Like I like to say, what now? What now? What now? Oh my God. But I don't see that happening quite yet. I feel that this is we're heading. This reading will probably have a lot more clarity when we actually get to the exact culmination on the full moon. Let's have a look. What's the problems here? What are the challenges here? One of the problems is that the way I see it is that maybe it's like family issues because I don't know if you have any immediate family up there. As far as I recall, you don't. And you might be missing home. You might be missing that beautiful feeling that comes with home and family. And it might be a very idealized kind of energy. I have this issue myself personally, okay, Tina, because of my own configurations. I have a very idealized, let's say, super high expectations of home and family, and anything less than that, sometimes it feels very painful or tragic. I've learned to live with it, but it feels to me that the challenge here is that deep down, you want to feel really, really happy at the very highest levels of happiness that you've ever known. And anything less than that has the potential to leave you feeling, let's say, like you're missing something, or deprived, or less than happy, and very, like you mentioned earlier, you were perhaps missing New Mexico. You had, maybe you were a little bit closer to family. So, with the Ten of, it's like the real issue is, you remember when we did the relocations and we were talking about what really counts? You're at a point in life what you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be swimming in happiness, personal happiness. And so we kind of came to this conclusion that maybe relocation's good. Let's go to somewhere where you can put the main energies of happiness on the front line of relocation. And so you go for it, you do that thing, there's your kind of locations, but instead of having all the traditional ingredients of happiness that work for a lot of people, which is love, relationships, family, and all of that beautiful stuff, it's you. It's just you. Now I know you've made some, bonding and connection with the town and everything like that. But if I recall, even though you've got the three big wonderful dogs, you're still essentially on your own there. So maybe there might be a part of you which is pining. Let's say pining for what is missing, because at some point you might have had a taste of what it's like to have really deep, rich harmony in your home life and family life, and then to be experiencing something less than that. It could be very troubling for you, and that's understandable. You made some huge, bold, exciting, very adventurous decisions over the last few years. So how are we going to deal with this? Oh, wow. Look at this, Tina. Look at this. I think the message that I'm getting here, Tina, is you've got to trust yourself, okay? And it's like you are on a path, and whatever that path looks like, follow that path, follow the sunshine, and continue to give yourself permission to love thyself first and foremost, like whatever makes you happy. For example, if you are feeling unhappy because you don't have some of these really deep, delicious emotional connections that some people have, then allow yourself to attract that. The way this is going to sound like really convoluted, but you understand these energies very well, Tina. Like, by continuing to live by example, since I know that you understand this very well, continuing to live in your sun energy, no matter how conflicted your sun sign might be. It says here, critical access hospital. They want to run an emergency room, but they don't want to staff it. Okay, so it might be like, a very low budget situation where they can't afford to staff it, or maybe someone's a tightwad way up in the local government where they're just refusing to staff it. That's just terrible. That's just truly terrible. They have 4 to 5 patients on one side and a 5-bed ER, and you're the only registered nurse. Everyone is on call, including the doctor. See, that's a tremendous amount of stress and burden. That's probably why they thought you are an angel from heaven when you actually were willing to sign up for that job. Now that you're not there, they're probably seriously going to miss you. Seriously going to miss you. And maybe that's a wake-up call that the hospital needs. I don't know if you're interested in never going back there, Tina, but maybe, because I think you have so much to offer, maybe consider something else completely different. Who knows what that will be. But number one, obviously, the solution here is to keep yourself happy at the core. And if those folks ever come back to you and say, Tina, please would you reconsider? You could easily say something like, oh, well, obviously I would, I'd be happy to reconsider, but you got to understand, I'm not going to jeopardize my life, my raw survival, because some tightwad over in the capital, whoever manages healthcare funding for the state of Montana, they're refusing to pay for a proper crew to run this place. If they're willing to pay for that and they give me permission to screen some new staff and staff it up properly, I might be more than happy to come by. They just wanted someone to keep their mouth shut. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow, Tina. Who knew? So we live and learn as we go. It did not work out well. It didn't work out well for them. Yeah, they lost someone very valuable. God, they just, it sounds to me like they just wanted someone who'd be grateful to get that paycheck and just keep their mouth shut and just put up with the crap that's going on inside the hospital. I think you did the right thing. Absolutely did the right thing. Honor thyself. Love thyself. Number one. And don't make it like you have to be a hero or a self-sacrificing martyr. Martyrdom is the worst possible thing for your character, your personality. Okay, Tina? This is where you need to be. You need to be in sun energy. This is a really, really supportive energy. I'm really glad we did this tonight. Thank you so much, Tina. This is super duper. Like you say, you could not have gotten a better reading. This is very, very supportive of you and for you. And it's not telling you what to do or how to do it going forward from here. My feeling, this is like an affirmation that your experience and your decisions led you to where you are right now, and the path forward is to make an absolute firm, deeply loving commitment to yourself. No. My first priority is to me, to be happy, to be the most loving person that I can be. That has to start with me. I have to live by example. I, Tina Miller, give myself permission to transform to the next level of personal happiness, where I don't necessarily feel the pain of this so much, and instead I rise further and further into my own sovereign self, where I am happy no matter what, no matter who, no matter where, no matter when, no matter how, okay? Nobody can take me down, okay? I am happy. I'm here for a reason. Your job is to, it's like your day job is to be happy, okay? So let's leave it at that, okay, Tina? I want to go over here personally. Let's take it over here. It's like your day job now is to be happy. Live by example, and it's almost like be willing to live in that continuous flow where you allow yourself to be guided and be protected, where whatever's coming to you next after these eclipses will come to you. Like the little prayer that I like to do. Please, dear angels, dear guardians from above, my dear invisible friends, my dear guardians who are very close, my loved ones and family from beyond, please help me. Please bring to me that which is mine. Please take away from me that which is not mine. Amen. I surrender. Okay? And then you just let it happen. You do not live in fear. If you sense fear in your body, you say, be done with that. Fear be gone. I am living my sovereign self life. I'm living in my solar self. It doesn't get more powerful than that, Tina. And that's what I mean by living by example. You don't have to be a guru. You don't have to be really rich. You don't have to be, a PhD in anything. It's just a question about love, understanding how love works, how the healing power of love works, how energy works. That's why I call it kind of energy management. And I think, from my feeling, Tina, you are so in tune with these types of energies that you have a pretty good understanding of the reading as it's unfolded here for you, in such a way that you can be happy whatever the circumstances, It's not dependent like, oh, I can't be happy unless I make this much money, or I have this much prestige and everybody sees me as somebody like amazing. I don't have to be a savior anymore on the grand scale. That's the problem. Don't know how to make it work for me. Well, that's what I call energy management. Seriously considering Home Depot. Wow. If I was allowed to work, Tina, if I was able to get a proper job, I would seriously consider Home Depot. No, there's no movement cards there. Seriously. For example, okay, if you're seriously considering Home Depot, I would, you've already left the hospital. You're moving through the eclipses right now. Give yourself a break. It's a traumatic thing. You just went through and came out the other side. Almost like on one of those crazy roller coasters. Like, give yourself a little bit of time to decompress and reconfigure and actually do what I did. I like to play little games and try to help myself stay optimistic. So I've actually been to a Home Depot over here in Las Vegas. And I asked them about what's the possibilities for me? What's the possibilities for me to work at Home Depot? And there were two or three Home Depot people suddenly clustered around me. And they just kind of looked at me and they said, oh, we'll hire you. We'd love to have you. And I was like, what? You don't know anything about me. I'm technically, theoretically, medically disabled. You'd never know, but I am. I had to be on SSI for quite a long time. I'm a lot older than your preferred employee. and I can't lift 70 pounds of concrete on my back, and transportation is edgy at times. And they said, oh, we'll figure it out. There's plenty of stuff to do here. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. And I was like, is this really happening? Is this really happening? They were so friendly. They were so nice. And one of them actually went and got one of those we are hiring brochures. And they said, have a look at this, have a look at this, have a look at this. And none of those employees were anything to do with human resources or recruiting or anything. One of them was an old guy who loved motorcycles. One was a young lady who was like customer service. She could go around. Anyway, it's like, I thought, wow, this is amazing. And I don't know if you've heard these kind of stories, Tina, like when they do Zen yoga teaching or any of these like yoga masters or, really big deal, rich, famous type, guru type, teacher type people. They give you examples like, you can spread the healing power of love as a cashier in a grocery store. You can spread the healing power. You can spread and share your healing power of love as an operative at Home Depot. Why not? It doesn't mean you have to be a nurse. The thing is, I'm a guy and I kind of like hardware. I like tools. I like things to be all nice and organized. And another thing I like about Home Depot is that it's really big, and it keeps you fit because you're on your feet all day for your shift. And you can even suggest to them, well, what kind of shifts? Like, I can only be on my feet for maybe 4 hours at maximum. That would be a long time for me. And they would say things like, oh, don't worry, we'll fit you in. My neighbor is a retired engineer, and he went to work at Lowe's. You see, there you go. Maybe you don't have to know everything about everything, and you learn as you go. It felt to me like the folks at Home Depot were very, very, very supportive about looking after each other because they have hundreds of thousands of product items in there. You can't know everything about it all. I think the biggest thing that I see when I go to Home Depot over here is like people coming up to you and saying, hello, can you tell me where I can find mosquito repellent? I'm lost. I don't know which aisle. And then you pull out your Home Depot scanner phone. Oh, aisle 13, booth 3B. And they go, oh, thank you so much. I was getting lost. I didn't know where I was. And someone will come up and say, hey, where's the landscaping section? I can't see it. This place is so big. I know you got trees and plants somewhere. And you can tell them, oh, listen, I'll take you there. I'm going there anyway myself. So that's what I mean by living by example. And you can radiate the healing power of love. You can be fit. I figured it out when I used to work in retail and I'm on my feet all day. If you're constantly moving at, say, 2 or 3 miles an hour for 8 hours, you're walking 25 miles. It's a 25-mile walk. So, Tina, yeah, if it works out, if you try that and go somewhere, it's a nice little paycheck, and you can stash it away for the future, and every day would be a new adventure. I'm not saying Home Depot is your destiny, but it's I would be proud to work at Home Depot. I just can't. That's all. There you go. Thank you, Tina. I'm so happy I got to do this reading with you. I know it was a very long reading. Normally, if I have lots of bookings, I'd have to buzz through them really quickly. But it was a pleasure. Maybe it was meant to be this way tonight. Maybe this is just how it is. Just an intimate group. Let me just check over here with some of the... see what... let's see, just about everybody went home by the looks of it. Oh, well. No big deal. All right, so we're going to go over here. It looks like everybody had to go home. Wow. Talk about entertainment. Talk about a small channel with numbers of views. Tina, thank you so much. Oh, Path, you're still there. Hi, Path. I'm going to have one more sip of my little caffeine thing because I'm fading already. I think I've already burnt out the caffeine. Another thing I'm not allowed to have is sugar or sugary things. So that just doesn't mean sugar, but it means high fructose corn syrup, aspartame, equal, things like that. Plus a lot of carbs, you know, cookies, cakes, donuts, sugary things, yeah. Yeah, Path is here, Tina's here. That's great, that's all we need. Okay. So the whole show, for me, I'm so glad that I came on here tonight. I was really frightened, okay? Path Travel, let's do a quick read. Open for the Eclipse. Send a PayPal now. Okay! Cheers, Path. Like, this is what would happen if I turned my channel into a promotional channel. And here tonight, you might be enjoying Tijala tea. Only 70 milligrams of caffeine per bottle. Cheers. All right. So, Path, we're going to do another reading, folks. Woo! Let's go back to the stage. Oh my God, we're doing another reading, folks. All right, Tina, thank you so much. We're going to go through the grand ceremony of the sacred post-it notes. Path Traveler. I forgot if it's one L or two L's. It's one L. Sorry about that. All right, let me shuffle up. Let me just shuffle up. I am going to make water and coffee. Sinus headache, need more water. Got it. A nurse doing her own self-diagnosis. There you go. All right, let's do a shuffle up. I'm going to put a little tiny Tarot Lumination song on here. Let's have a look. I don't want to put I Surrender. I know it's probably a very appropriate song, but I want to put on a little something. I'm going to put on the Wonder Ride. It's a birthday present for someone very dear to me. It's kind of about the roller coaster, the amazing roller coaster of life. Like an amazing, you know, that's why we have amusement parks, because it's like a what's the word? Not parody. It's a parallel to life. Let's put it that way.
Okay, we are rolling. So, this is a birthday present for my friend. My dear, this is my birthday present to you, to celebrate the day that heaven made you. It's remarkable that we both found one another. The day we set out on our transformational ride with each other at each other's side, it soon became evident that we are both changing. And it's such a wonder ride, my world of untold delights that truly defy the imagination. You've naturally taken it upon yourself to document all of the nuances that go to make up a story of extraordinary proportions. And it's such a wonder ride, my dear. Yes, it's such a wonder ride. Hold on tight, tightly, my dear. Yes, such a wonder ride, my dear. Yes, it's such a wonder ride. Hold on tight, tightly, my dear.
Well, there we go. Hey, Path, and everybody here, I want to thank you so much for encouraging me to figure out what the heck I'm doing and try to stay positive and lift myself out of the quicksand where I've been struggling for so long. See, the thing is, I have so much of my identity tied up in my YouTube channel. Guilty. So you inevitably create your own demise. It works for some folks, it doesn't work for some folks. We'll see. I'm just living my journey just like anybody else. It's been a very, very bumpy ride, but I'm still here, and there's a meaning and a purpose. Okay? Alright, so thank you, Pat. Especially for encouraging me to go back to my own music, my little songs and everything like that. I have so much music that I want to record and produce, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of money, and I can't do it on my own. I need to hire a producer kind of tech. There's one here, but I'd be bankrupt within a week. Anyway, here we go. Alright, so, dear Path Traveler, let's have a look. Before we even pull the cards out, I'm going to look at this. Because a lot of you know Path Traveler has some very poignant astrological aspects, and Path is very astute at her own astrology and astrology on the global level. She has a very firm understanding of all of this and everything that's going on. But it never hurts to find out more. Okay? So, without further ado, as they say, that's an expression. Cards are well shuffled. We're going to go right into the cut. What are the messages that we have here tonight for Path Traveler? Regarding anything and everything we can possibly imagine. Especially regarding the eclipse. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. And we're going to look at external influences. Okay? I almost always defer to the planets, but sometimes something else comes through. I might get a very profound message that's very specific. All right, Ace of Pentacles. Wow. Whoa. Okay, this is a card of sacred opportunity. So this is, I feel, well, obviously it's about money, but let's say it's something bigger than money. Let's talk about stability, security, personal finances, material, physical abundance here on the earthly plane. And I would even go as far as to say to associate this Pentacles earth energy with the Taurus full moon that's coming. Taurus is a very heavy-duty earth sign. And eclipses, oh my gosh, I think this is very complementary towards the eclipses. Like, even though we might not have a clue about the details of the eclipse or what it's going to look like for you, how it's going to actually play out, okay, Path? At least, like what I said earlier, expect the unexpected. In fact, there's no point in expecting the unexpected, because if you do expect the unexpected, it's like you already knew it was going to happen. So what we're talking about here on this channel right now tonight is to basically be open, be ready, willing, and able. Make sure that you feel. Let's do a reminder here. I have a beautiful song written about this little mantra, but I have yet to record it from years ago. First of all, this would be something that you would recite and chant to yourself. I am worthy. I am deserving. I am open to receive. I am ready, I am willing, and I am able to receive. Fill in the blank. The healing power of love. Abundance. New hope, new opportunities, whatever it is. New opportunities, okay? I would very much verbally out loud to yourself utter that little phrase. I am worthy, I am deserving, I am open to receive. I am ready, I am willing, I am able to receive. It's like NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which opens up your heart center to be able to receive opportunity at this level. Very much to do with your physical, earthly existence right now. Whatever that looks like. And let it come to you. Please bring to me that which is mine. Please take away from me that which is not mine. Turn it into a little prayer. However you do your prayers or your conversations with God, just hand it over, basically as a statement. We're talking about energy management here. Very, very pure, very simplified energy management. Dear ... invisible friends. I usually go for my invisible friends. Dear invisible friends, please bring to me that which is mine. Please take away from me that which is not mine. Now, that could be anything. It could be a concept, a belief system, a relationship, a thing, an event, an expectation that comes to you. And then something else is removed. It's really aligned with eclipse energy, okay? Please take away from me that which is not mine. And it releases you. It puts you in a state of complete openness to be able to receive and to be able to discard. It's like having a big poop. And then you're just like, wow, I feel so much better. Wow. Here we go. Here's the situation. Let's have a look. Okay, so with the Page of Swords, it makes me feel that what needs to go on here is that there needs to be a truth-telling. It's almost as though we have to go through a period here where it could be very, very beneficial to do some self-clearing, or perhaps with the local environment or friends or family or loved ones or something like that, perhaps just with the self, about slash and burn and cutting into the basics without any apologies, about we need to get to the truth about the facts of the matter. Please, if you don't mind, thank you very much. To me, the situation is all about it's time to cut the crap. It's time to cut through the crap. It's time to whistle blow on myself. If there's anything I've been doing to myself, with myself, that is actually ultimately detrimental or against my ultimate good, where it's like almost like very, very, very subtle forms of self-harm, I need to call that out. I need to call that out on myself. Now, it might be happening with someone else or something else in your life too, where you need to call it out. Like if there's a very important issue between yourself and loved ones of some kind, something that's being swept or hidden or under the carpet, and the eclipse is opening things up where it's time to call out the truth. Some people don't like to do that. They want to just stay sort of, it's too awkward. It's going to turn up, it's going to create too much disruption. Sometimes truth tellers walk on a very precarious pathway, because a lot of people live fake lives. They live marginalized existences, and they don't want to be called out. What they want is approval. They want to be validated that their path of their existence is absolutely perfect. And they've already made inner contracts and decisions to betray themselves and compromise themselves in order for the expediency of just getting along in life at a very, very much lower frequency, just to go along, to get along. And that's very unhealthy, okay? So whether this is regarding yourself with yourself or with yourself and a particular, I would say, loved one or a particular situation, maybe a contractor or a neighbor or a belief system, whatever it is, it's really important that now is the time, now is the opportunity to call it out. It's got a bit of a Uranus feel here, like shaking it up. What's that story about? I can't remember. Anyway, never mind. What's the problem here in terms of shaking things up? Well, see, this is almost like the ultimate path traveler card. Once you call it out, let's put these together very closely, very, very, very closely. Like these energy fields are working very, very closely together. Once you either gently and diplomatically and gracefully, or whether it's done fiercely and forcefully and undiplomatically, either way, you've got to call out the truth and certain realities about your life and your world that is no longer acceptable. Not acceptable. And that puts you in this awkward spot. Well, okay, TL, thanks for saying that. Got to call it out. Got to be a whistleblower. This, and this, and this is no longer acceptable. It has to go. Great. Thanks, TL. But that leaves me in a very awkward position. What am I going to do now? What now? What now? What now? You didn't plan for that. There's big, wide open spaces up here that involves decisions. It also involves, of course, allowing the things to come to you. So you have to be ready, willing, and able to receive. This would be the posture of being in a posture of being ready, willing, and able to receive your destiny, and then going forward from there, because there's no clarity, no definition here. All we're doing here is seizing the moment, seizing the opportunity, calling out the truth, defining what is no longer acceptable and opening the gateway so that the eclipses can work for you. And even though it might be a little scary because you might not have any precepts, concepts about what to do next, it kind of doesn't matter. It's very scary. Like the fear of the unknown is very scary for people, no matter how advanced you are. Some people get a thrill out of it, but that's usually a minority, okay? So with the Two of Wands, it's a very understandable fear. Like if you like things to be fixed and stable and manageable and understandable and within your realm of power and control and energy management, that would be good. It feels very, very, very good to be that way. But what we're looking here is like the inevitable. With the eclipses, you are inevitably going to be willingly and joyfully and calmly and excitedly pushed to a new evolutionary step. Or you can scream and holler and resist, and it'll be very painful. I see you as the first way, the first path here. But it still can be a little bit scary. The beauty of this, of course, is brand new horizons. Like, oh my gosh, I never imagined that before. I never thought about that before. Wow, I never saw life from that perspective before. Yeah, it's a bit scary, but, it's not the end of the world. It could be an adventure. But there is definitely an element of fear here, like, I'm not sure I want to actually invoke so much freedom, so much exposure to the unknown. It's a little bit scary. Okay, so what are we going to do? How are we going to deal with it? Because it's going to happen anyway. Okay, I would suggest here the answer is to tap into your dream world. Allow your dreams to speak to you. Allow yourself to dive deep into the world of art, dreaming, imagination, like fantasy window shopping for life, for things, for situations. Allow your imagination to go absolutely wild, perhaps even more than ever before. Maybe some kind of trip or journey, maybe some kind of new experience that you've always wanted to try but never dared. And just allow it to happen. There's different ways to read this card, but in this particular reading path, I feel this is, at its essence, it's ultimately about tapping into your deepest dreamscape and imagination and allowing ideas and concepts and beliefs and divine inspiration to come to you. You don't have to go hunting. All you have to do is put yourself in the mindscape to allow it to come to you. Bob Schreiber nailed it there. Tapping into the secret law of attraction. There you go. So, dear Path Traveler, I hope this reading makes sense. I mean, you know what to do. If you need to, you can watch it again. It's only like 4 minutes or something. We'll see. But Path, thank you very much for giving me a chance to do what I love to do and give a second reading tonight. That's really all I can handle anyway, so I'm going to wrap it up quickly after this, but it feels good to connect with you guys. I'm so happy I actually did come on live tonight, and I cheated a little bit with my aspirin and acetaminophen and a little tiny, very small amount of the caffeine. I feel like I'm almost human. I might pay for it a little bit later, we'll see, but right now I don't care. Very, very happy we all connected. Okay? So, dear lovely viewers, regulars, all you lovely regulars, and anybody new out there who's watching quietly on the sidelines, thank you very much for hanging out. I'm going to sign out really quickly and play it out with one of my little tunes. and kind of go from there. You know what? I feel like doing it because it's a very clumsy song. Yeah, I wrote it for a female pop star. I was imagining someone like Taylor Swift or Katy Perry to sing the song. It's just a really goofy song. It's called Hey Oh. It's applicable to anybody, but it's very much a girly song about everything that can go wrong, will go wrong. And yet, you find a way to do it. You find a way to dance. You dance. You love your enemies. You love the ones you love. You live life anyway. It's called Hey Oh, okay? So I'm going to check out. I'm going to swirl my way out of here. And you guys can hang out for a few minutes, and then after the song's over, I'm just going to cut it, okay? So good night, everybody. If you need to check out fast, fine, but I'm going to play the song anyway. Okay? Let's see how it goes. We'll see.
It was one of those days where everything goes wrong. My hair fell out, my heel broke off, I slept through my alarm. I missed the bus to night school, my stalker walked me home. I sprayed his face with paint and then he left me all alone. Hey, I'm gonna go out tonight. I'm gonna dance my stress away until the break of daylight. Hey, there's nothing I'd rather do. You may not wanna dance with me, but I wanna dance with you. A lot of my relationships, they end up in the ditch. So I'm getting counseling for being an uncontrollable bitch. The doctor's pills he gave me, they make me trip and fall. So if you are the man you say you are, you love me flaws and all. Hey, I'm gonna go out tonight. I'm gonna dance my stress away until the break of daylight. Hey, there's nothing I'd rather do. You may not wanna dance with me, but I wanna dance with you. Massages and pedicures, the great but not solutions. The pets, the bags, the fancy racks are empty substitutions. What I really need is a man who throws me over his shoulder, takes me naked in the ocean, loving me when I'm older. Hey, I'm gonna go out tonight. I'm gonna dance my stress away until the break of daylight. Hey, there's nothing I'd rather do. You may not wanna dance with me, but I wanna dance with you. Getting tattoos on my ass and up and down my arms could get me into trouble, leaving me rejected. Then again, pretending I'm so pure and acting all demure is no guarantee that I will be accepted. Hey, I'm gonna go out tonight. I'm gonna dance my stress away until the break of daylight. Hey, there's nothing I'd rather do. You may not wanna dance with me, but I wanna dance with you. Hey, we're gonna go out tonight. We're gonna dance the stress away until the break of daylight. Hey, there's nothing I'd rather do. You may not wanna dance with me, but I wanna dance with you.
So I'll leave you with the little astrodoodle just for a few moments. I'm going to try and hold it dead still. Maybe YouTube will turn this into the, what do they call it, the thumbnail. Yes, I've only 2 readings. I have to be really, really careful about how I expend my energy at the moment. I love you guys. I'd like to do the 4-hour marathons, but I can't handle it right now. Sorry. So, good night. Enjoy the eclipse. I'm probably going to do something on the eclipse, no doubt. By the way, oh my God, I forgot to tell you. Wait, did I say it early at the very beginning? I think I did. Let me go back. I have to go back over here. Early date. Hi, Ivona. Love Driver brought a couple things to my attention. And I take this stuff seriously. Number one thing, on the eclipse, she pointed out that there was one of our YouTubers. His name is Dick Allgaier. His channel is called Crypto Viewing. He does some pretty serious remote viewing with his other remote viewer friends for validation purposes. And what he saw, he said, was very disturbing, very surprising, very shocking. And it's going to happen on the eclipse, and it's something to do with the ELECTIONS, or something to do with voting. Okay? And it could be very, very disruptive. An external influence, okay? And Love Triber also mentioned that there's some tarot reader that she likes, and the woman was saying that she was sensing that there's going to be something explosive. Okay? Well, when I look at the charts, that's, to me, it's already very obvious, but it's nice to be, let's say, endorsed by other parties that are nothing to do with me. So let's leave that as the closing thing for here today. Thank you very much. Good night, everybody. It's been a pleasure. I hope to be here next Sunday. We'll see what happens. It's going to be between now and next Sunday, a lot of stuff